So today I want to talk about strategies to win the offer for your buyer. Strategies to win the offer for your buyer. So we're running into a lot of bidding wars right now. We've all been through it. Some of us are really going through it. And anything under 400, really. I mean, stuff in the threes go crazy. First of all, the most important thing is your client has to be ready. Your client has to understand how the market works. Unfortunately, sometimes a client needs to have something painful happen in order to finally listen to you. How do you get past that? What are some things that you can say to help get them where you need them to be? For me, it's always just to tell stories. So I had this listing and here's what happened. One of the other agents had a listing, here's what happened. I had a buyer, here's what we had to do in order to win. You know, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. So telling stories help get them where you need them to be so that they're thinking the right direction and why using you is what they should be using you over someone else. So prep them, tell stories, tell stuff that happened. And I'm going to share some of mine today. We're probably going to ask for a few other stories along the way. First of all, the good homes, if it's turnkey, ready to go, where someone can just move right in, those are the ones that are going to get the multiple offers and end up in bidding wars. Typically, if it needs a little more work, it's a little more of a project house, you have a lower percentage of the population that cares about that. So you're going to have less chance of a bidding war or a house going for over asking if it needs some work. So sometimes helping your client understand that, telling them, hey, we can do a rehab loan on a place that maybe needs some work, finding out the client's needs, does it have to be turnkey? And then you can kind of get into some of these more projects that maybe other people don't want to mess with. So that's just something to be thinking about when you're dealing with your client. Sometimes, people like to do remodeling and repairs, and some people don't like to do it at all. Find out what's best for your client, maybe even take them to a couple project homes just to see what their thoughts are on getting into something like that. When I take my clients out for showings, I try to get them in front of anything that's on the market, because you just never know what somebody looks at and goes, hey, I can do this, this, and this, and then they'll want to buy it. So the first thing that I talk about is, if we do get in a bidding war and we want to come out really strong, what's the cost of adding $20,000 to our asking price? Well, the cost of that really is only $20 a month on a loan. You offer an extra 20 grand. Basically, you're paying an extra $20 a month to get the house you want. Is it worth it? If you break it down into monthly, what that costs, it helps them bridge that gap quicker. And this is $50 a month to do this. It's, if we got to go up another little bit, here's what you're going to pay a month to get into the house that you really want. So break it down, make it simple so that they can understand this is a $50 a month decision you're making, not a $20,000 decision. And with the way home prices are going up right now, they're easily going to recoup that in equity. Get your client pre-approved. That's the big one. You can get them pre-approved, get them pre-qualified. Further they are into that process of being ready to get that loan so they can do a faster closing, just the more your client's ready to go. And proof of funds, not something that I've done a lot, but right now with the climate, the way things are, I want a copy of the bank statement showing me the balance, black everything else out, just, show bank name on the top of the letter and then what the balance is, just to show that buyer that, hey, this person, the seller, that, hey, this buyer is serious. They have what it takes to get it done. If you're up against cash in a bidding war, you'll probably lose to cash. Fast, easy close is what people want. But if you have a loan that's all pre-qualified, ready to go, that can be just as strong to some people. And then they're looking at the price that you're offering. Keep in mind, certain loans are better than others. If your client's doing a VA loan, that's probably the toughest loan to get, with the most contingencies that are built into it, because the appraiser has to look at it. It has to pass his approval. If there's little things that need to be fixed on a home, you're going to have a little tougher time getting a VA loan than you are a conventional, where somebody's putting more money down. So a VA loan and an FHA loan would be the other one, where when the appraiser does the appraisal, he's also looking for things that they need to fix in order for it to be able to be financed. So keep in mind that kind of loan is not as strong as if they have a little more money down and they can just go conventional. Because conventional loans, half of them right now aren't even requiring an appraisal. They're just doing it. You know, they pull it up on the internet, they take a look at it, and they go, close enough. Guy's got 20% down. He's already got equity built into what he's paying for it. They're not going to be as picky. Another strategy would be if you have someone who has access to cash. Maybe they have a relative or family member, or they have money in an IRA or 401 or something they could borrow against, get a quick loan out of there to buy it with cash. You can borrow money against your IRAs for up to 90 days without any penalty. So someone could pull all the cash out, pay cash to buy the house, use that cash as leverage when they're making an offer on their purchase, and then turn around and pay it all back by financing the house after they buy it. So always keep in mind that's a real strong strategy. We did that on a house at James Island. You know, we did an all cash deal. He already had the loan process going, but you know, we were able to close in 2.5 weeks and all cash. We were actually 20 grand below asking because the place needed a little bit of work. We weren't in any bidding wars at that point. The cash was strong. They just took it. We also said, my client is, you know, in town for a short period of time. He needs to buy something this weekend while he's here. He wants to make you an all cash offer, but we want an answer today. You don't want it, fine. We'll go to the other one that he's looking at, but he would rather have yours. Here's 400 cash, yes or no. So that's how you can leverage a cash buyer. Also have a cover letter ready to go. Emotional connections from the seller to the buyer can help in a lot of these bidding situations, multiple offer situations. Pick of their family. Letter should have where they work, why they love the home in the area. Maybe pull up the description and look at what the realtor wrote about the house. Normally a realtor will write things that the seller has told them. And a seller wants to know that the buyer appreciates their house as much as they do. So if they mention the big oak tree in the backyard, you know, then my letter is going to say the buyers love the big oak tree in the backyard, looking forward to many wonderful family memories there, hanging out on the patio, grilling. You know, I mean, you just take that description and just kind of flip it and use it as a letter from your buyers. A couple strategies there. The big one is going to be speed to listing. I mean, that thing hits the market. If you can get there first, this is where the phone call to the other agent can be critical to finding out what it's going to take to get this thing sold now. And I use that same line. I'll say, hey, my buyer is looking to buy something today. He's identified 2 properties that he wants to buy. He likes this one the best. What do you think your seller will take to just pull it off the market? Where can he come in that they'd be like, oh my gosh, we're going to take that and call it good? And that other agent may have a number for you. You know, maybe he listed it at 230, but he's like, you know, gosh, if you offer 250, they'd probably just pull it off the market. I've done that before. And we've come back with a strong full price offer or whatever it is that was their big pain point that they didn't want to have to deal with. Other pain points could be that they got tied up in contingencies. The last time they sold their home, they got 20 things to repair. So telling them, hey, look, my client wants to make an offer pretty much as is. He just wants to know that the HVAC works, there's no plumbing issues, that the electrical is all good to go, and that the roof doesn't leak. And that there's no cracks in the foundation. So maybe there's like 5 things that I write up on an addendum and I just spell it out, please have the HVAC inspected as long as the roof doesn't leak. And, you can write in plain English whatever you want to do to try to simplify your offer as much as possible. So, and by doing that, it makes your offer stronger than everyone else. So I had a situation where I got in bidding wars, 3 different houses. We lost 3 different houses. The next one comes up. I call the person on the phone that's selling the house. Actually ended up being an agent selling her house. And I said, I'm going to bring you the best offer you've ever had. She's like, oh, well, okay. And so we made an offer that was contingent on the HVAC having a tune-up and inspection, that there was no cracks in the foundation, the roof didn't leak, and the electrical was good and the plumbing was good. And that's it. Just those 5 things. Wrote up on a little addendum, sent it to her. Other than that, it's as is. And you pick the closing date. What closing date you want? What day do you want to move out? My clients are flexible. So got their closing date, got them everything the way they wanted it. And they had, 30% down. So I submitted proof of funds with that. They were already pre-approved, ready to go for their loan. That got it done. I think of, if you ever watch Shark Tank, you think of Mark Cuban, when he makes his offers, he goes, I'm going to make you an offer. You either take it, but I don't want you talking to anyone else. You either say yes or no, or I'm out, right? So there's nothing wrong with you and your buyer being able to do that. You've got an over asking offer. There's no reason you can't say take it or leave it. Now, if you're dealing with a closure or bank owned or stuff like that, you're not going to get anywhere with that. But for the most part, if you can get that other agent on the phone, have a good conversation with them, this is where you can start applying some of that pressure to do it now. We need you to do it now. My client doesn't have time to mess around. He's got another place that he likes almost just as much, likes yours a little better. Here's the offer. It's a strong offer, but he needs to know now. Otherwise, he's going to go put an offer on that other one later today. So I like to say to the other agent, what will it take for them to just take an offer? I mean, where could my client come in that they would say, okay, fine, we'll just take it. Here's a strong offer, pre-approved, no contingencies, everything served up on a platter. What is there to think about? We're giving you what you're asked. So here you go. Here it is. So I had one where it was a $650,000 house on the water in James Island. Came up, a little dock in the back, Tidal Creek. And I called the other agent up. I said, we're buying it. We were the first showing. My client's out of town. I called him up. I said, I don't even need to show it. We're just going to make you an offer right now for full price. So call your client and tell him to take it off the market. So he did. So I had him that offer. I actually ran down with my phone, did a walkthrough, wrote it up right there on the kitchen table, sent it to him to sign, got it to the seller agent. They signed it that night. So, and that was before they'd even had any showings from anyone else. But it was because we were on it. I was watching for that house. I set up alerts in the MLS to alert me immediately if anything came up that had title view in that 600 price range on James Island. You could actually go into KV Core and you could set yourself up as a client. And then when you set up your alert, there's a little box down at the bottom where you can set up to send you alerts immediately. So being the fastest, being the first one is probably the most critical part in all of that. An agent wants to sell the house, right? So you call them right out of the gate. Hey, we're bringing you a full price offer right now. Where do I send it? What closing date would the seller like? I'll ask those things. Anything else that your seller was concerned about? Try to find out what those pain points are that their seller has so that you can avoid those in the contract. Show by phone. Make your first offer your best offer. So this is a tough one because you really have to have your client prepped. It should always be at least full price if they really like the house and it's a good turnkey house. Do your comps, see if you can justify a full price offer. If something's wrong with the house, you can always negotiate later. Okay, so if you do get into a house and something is wrong, you can still negotiate. So don't be afraid to throw an offer on something with repair addendum only, or even as is with 3 or 4 contingencies. You have the CL100 to fall back on, the termite inspection. You can't force a buyer to buy a house in this state. Okay, no judge is going to say, sorry, you have to buy it. There's a lot too many moving parts here. You might lose your earnest money, but you don't have to buy it. So, and even that is negotiable. I've had my buyer give up half of their earnest money before just because they fought it. And rather than going to court, the seller just let them out for half the earnest money. Even then, you can't make a buyer buy a house. You just can't. You just can't. So no one has been able to win that yet. So they've been ordered to compensate the seller for the time off market, but not buy the house. So now maybe someday some attorney will make that happen and I'll be able to say, yes, you can. So a couple other strategies, up your earnest money, put more money down. The more money you're putting up front, escalation clause with or without a cap. You can always say, hey, our offer is X, but we will beat the next highest offer by $1,000. Tell the other agent, send me proof of the other offer, and my clients will beat it by $1,000. You can drop contingencies, offer repair addendum, not due diligence. Due diligence leaves so many outs. Going after repair addendum is a stronger offer. Not contingent on appraisal. Okay. A lot of places won't appraise when they get in bidding wars. They're going to come in 10,000 less. Now that's an opportunity for the buyer to go, oh, it didn't appraise, so we want a discount now. Making your offer not contingent on appraisal is a strong offer. So,
right now, most appraisers are still appraising things because they know our market's just insane.
Yeah, and they don't have a choice. They have they have a license that they have to keep, so they can't just go, making stuff up to get to their valuations. So some places don't appraise, and that's normal right now. The market's changing so fast, can't keep up. CL100's not contingent on a termite inspection. You can do that. So I always recommend having a termite inspection done, or that say you're looking at a place that's brand new, it's got a termite bond. Do you really need a CL100? I mean, it's already under warranty with Terminex or somebody, so that's another thing that you can drop to make your offer stronger. Making your offer as is. I talked about that a little bit with my client where we made the offer as is. All we wanted to have done was have the HVAC looked at by an HVAC guy to confirm everything looked good. That we wanted to make sure the roof didn't leak. That we wanted to make sure there were no cracks in the foundation. And that the electrical and plumbing were good. I made an addendum and I just wrote, seller to have HVAC inspected by HVAC company and furnished receipt. This offer is as is. Buyer will have 5 days to inspect the roof for leaks, that the electrical and plumbing are good. That sounds so much better than what's on the contracts, repair addendum and, yeah. It's like, oh, well, just these 3 things. All they care about is these 3 things. They just want to make sure the HVAC works, that the roof doesn't leak, and that the plumbing and electrical are good. And, and then we'll just buy it as is. We're not going to nitpick you on all this little stuff, color of the doorknob or whatever. Your door doesn't close all the way. You need to have that adjusted by a contractor and evaluated for repairs.
Most expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple way to just make your offer look stronger than everyone else's. Oh, we got an as-is offer. And the agent goes, we got an as-is offer. They're all excited. And it's just this little addendum. All they want to make sure is that the electrical and plumbing are good. They're good, aren't they? You don't have any problems with your electrical, do you? And the seller's like, no, we don't. So have your inspection, see what comes up, go from there. Make a single inspection except for whatever, so seller to provide receipt of last service on HVAC. If not in the last year, seller to have one done. That was the wording I used on my last one I did this with. And then electrical roof leak, foundation cracks, broken windows. And I always tell my buyer, I tell them, you're buying a house for $300,000. What's a couple grand in repairs? I mean, just kind of plan on doing a couple things to the house when you buy it, right? I mean, most people do. They'll tear the carpet out, put new carpet in. I mean, yeah, it's old carpet. What'd you expect? Them to put brand new carpet in to sell the house? No. So they'll let you do it later, do it the way you want it. Pick your own colors. Oh, there's dings in the wall. Yeah, of course there is. They had paintings there. They had kids. You come in, you want to freshen it up, hit it with a coat of paint. Plan on coming into that, just knowing, hey, I'm going to spend $2, $3, $4, $5 grand up front to just get the place ready to move in. So what's a couple grand in repairs? And, you make a big deal about that right now, you're going to lose a sale. You're not going to be able to buy the house, and then you're off trying to find another house. So those are just some of the strategies when I'm dealing with buyers to help them get these deals done. So, and the big piece is you're always selling yourself and your buyer to the other agent, because that's your in. Okay, you get that other agent on your side. Hey, what's it going to take? Hey, what's it going to take? Hey, my buyer really wants the house, loves the big oak tree, loves the grilling in the backyard, loves the kitchen, loves the master bedroom with the hot tub off the back porch. Whatever it is that makes them love the house, I'm always harping on that stuff and getting that agent on my side. How can we get this done?